Welcome to your 8th Friday Fix. Today we're dipping our toes into something new. Complex sentences. We know what compound sentences are already. They're sentences that contain two or more complete sentences stuck together by one of our fanboys. A complex sentence also has at least two sentences stuck together, but in a different way. The glue, or linking word that holds them together, makes one of these sentences unable to stand alone. If I get this video done on time, if you think that sentence doesn't sound quite right, you're onto something. It is indeed a fragment, or a part of a sentence. There is something missing. So let's stick another sentence on and make it complete. If I get this video done on time, I'm going to buy myself another vegan pizza. It was quite good, actually, but I must say it's no fun being allergic to milk. Anyway, back to our sentence. If I get this video done on time, I'm going to buy myself another vegan pizza. If I get this video done on time cannot stand alone. It's what we call a dependent clause. Without a strong independent clause to support it, it falls apart and it's only a fragment. How sad. But when I'm going to buy myself another vegan pizza comes along to prop it up, suddenly it becomes whole. Now it's a complete sentence. Hooray! I'm going to buy myself another vegan pizza is an independent clause because it does work as a complete sentence all on its own. So for those of you keeping score, a complex sentence is at least one dependent clause and an independent clause. For those of you who are bored and need a bit more excitement in your video, there is also such a thing as a compound complex sentence. This has both the ingredients for a compound sentence and a complex sentence. For example, if I get this video done on time, I'm going to buy myself another vegan pizza, but this time I'll remember to buy toppings. Dependent clause plus independent clause plus coordinating conjunction, that's one of our fanboys, plus independent clause. Phew, that was a lot of grammar terms. Are you tired now? Sit tight, just 2 more points to go in this video. The first is our glue for complex sentences. These are called adverbial subordinators. You don't have to remember that, but you should remember 2 things about them. First of all, they do the work of adverbs, hence the adverbial part. So they tell us something like the when, how, or why of the sentence. The subordinator part makes a lot of sense if you know the other name for a dependent clause. That's a subordinate clause. I usually teach the term dependent clause because many learners know the word independent already, and it makes a lot of sense that it's depending on the strong independent clause. The word subordinate means it's secondary or less important than the main or independent clause. Here are a few adverbial subordinators you can look out for. After, although, because, before, if, since, though, until, when, where. You probably use these linking words already, so just start keeping an eye out to make sure you're using them correctly. The third and final point today is one of the most requested video topics: commas. Complex sentences have a wonderfully simple rule for commas, but it's different from what you're used to, so pay close attention. If your complex sentence looks like this: dependent, then independent clause, there must be a comma between them. This should match up with the way you're used to writing complex sentences, so it should be pretty easy to remember. On the other hand, if your complex sentence looks like this: independent clause first, dependent clause after, there is no comma between them. In Danish, a comma is required here, so be careful when you're writing English. You cannot use your Danish grammar here, or you'll be wrong. Probably the best way to remember which is which, comma or no comma, is to think about the pauses. Because of the freezing winters on Mars, the Martian decided to move to Copenhagen. There's a pause, comma needed. But the Martian needed to buy rain boots immediately because it rains so much here. In this sentence, there's little or no pause between the two clauses, and there's no comma. Now let's hear about your weekend. Try writing a sentence of each type and pay close attention to where you need a comma and where there are no commas allowed. Happy Friday!